today's episode, I will share with you some of my tips and tricks on how I've learned English language. Language skills are very important. That goes without saying. Without English here in Canada, you will not be able to get a proper job, you will not be able to start your own business, and even communicating with your neighbors or at the store is going to be super hard. That's obvious. Despite all of that, there is plenty of people around who speak very basic English. And I mean, they can say hi, they can do a little bit of a small talk, they can go to a store and buy themselves some groceries. But they are limited by the language in their success on immigration because simply they cannot find a proper job or have their own business to generate enough income to sustain themselves. So language, and in Canada particularly English language, is a key to your success on immigration. So today I will show you what I do to make my language skills even better. But before we get there, I want to acknowledge a simple fact. Learning English is super hard. English is very hard language for me to learn because being from Poland, Polish language is very far apart from English. They are from totally different groups of languages. Unlike German, Polish does not have even a single word that is very similar to English word. So you basically have to start from absolute scratch, from zero. Also, Polish grammar is 100% different than English grammar. We conjugate almost every part of the sentence in Polish, where you don't do that in English. In Polish, order of the words in a sentence makes a difference, but you will still be understood if you change them. In English, you have to follow specific rules. So it's super hard. On top of that, as you can hear from my accent, we speak slightly different and our pronunciation is completely different. It took me years to train my tongue in order to be able to say the, which is super hard for us back in Poland. So I acknowledge the fact that we are going to struggle with learning language, but that should not stop us from trying. As you can see, I started to do YouTube videos despite my shortcomings in English language. I'm pretty sure some of the native speakers could take my videos and take sentence by sentence and dissect them, and in practically every single one of them they will find a grammar error of some sort. But this is not stopping me from producing the content and publishing it on YouTube, simply because I understood that at some level I am confident in sharing the content with you, and despite those little grammar errors, I can still portray the message through my video. And I feel that this is enough, this level is enough for me to start sharing that content. It doesn't change the fact that I still put a lot of effort on daily basis to get better at my English speaking skills. In this video, I want to show you what I do specifically to get better at it. One of the things that I do on daily basis is I watch YouTube videos by Ronnie. There is a YouTube channel called English Lessons 4 as a number, U as a capital U. I will leave the link down below in the comments. Ronnie, the tutor on those videos, is super good teacher. She is explaining a lot of little quirks and little local elements to Canadian English. So it is very good to get to know those local ways of expressing yourself. And obviously she's helping with the grammar and pronunciation of certain words, which is very good. And on top of that, it's on YouTube, so it's free. So this is my base for just getting more vocabulary, learning more about the grammar, and trying with the pronunciation. But here you will ask, well, nobody can hear you, therefore nobody can correct your pronunciation if you don't have a tutor right by you. I found a solution for this problem. Here I have my phone, and on my phone there is this app which is Google Translate. On the Google Translate there is an option to say the word to the Google Translate, and then it recognizes the word. So for instance, if I want to learn a brand new word and add it to my vocabulary, what I'm going to do is choose that I want to change from Polish to English, and I want to make that translation. So let's say I would translate some easy to say word. For instance, shop. So shop in Polish is sklep. I'll type that in and I will translate it. And as you can see, there is a translation for it. What I'm going to do, there is this little icon over here, which you can click and it will tell you the word
shop. Shop.
And I will listen to that word multiple times and I will try to say it. Now, the trick is then to change the language again. So now we're making a translation from English to Polish. And there is a little microphone icon over here, which will allow me to say that word and it will be recorded over here. So, shop. And as you can see,
sklep.
It did translate it. If this device can understand me, this means I said the word correctly. You would be surprised how many attempts it takes me to learn a new word. I will have to say it something like 20-30 times before the device recognizes me. I know it might sound a little bit funny to try the trick like this, and I typically do it at home so I don't embarrass myself on the street. But this is a very, very helpful way of learning at least the basic pronunciation. Of course, different dialects, different parts of the country, they might say the same words slightly different. For instance, you have people in south of United States and in north of United States, they will say the same word completely different. Same between the United States and Canada. Sometimes even spelling is different. For instance, word labor, it's spelled completely differently in both countries. But it at least gives me a very, very good base on which I can start learning. By now you are probably asking yourself why you wouldn't go back to school and learn English there. Unfortunately for me, it is a scheduling issue. I have two jobs. One is my regular daytime job, the other is my business that I'm opening. And finding time to go back to school is very, very hard for me. So I wanted to make sure that this video gives you a way of learning English on top of your formal education. Now, formal or informal education, there is one last advice that I want to give you that will significantly improve your English speaking skills. And that is to remove your local language, in my case Polish, from your day-to-day life once you live in a different country. In my case, Canada. What do I mean by that? Well, by removing, I mean absolutely removing it. I do not read Polish website. I do not watch Polish videos, neither on YouTube or other places. I don't rent Polish videos from online services like ePla or a few different ones. I don't read Polish books. I don't read Polish newspapers. And I have a very, very limited contact with Polish community here in Vancouver. Basically, on day-to-day basis, I speak Polish maybe for half an hour or an hour a day with my wife, because even here at home, we speak English half of the time. You see, Polish is so different than English that it takes me a lot of time to switch my way of thinking between Polish and English. It's very hard for me to restructure the sentences, the way I express myself, the words I use, and it takes a lot of mental energy for me to make that change. So for me, it is actually easier to stay in sort of an English mode and speak in English than go back to Polish and to English, Polish, English. I know it might sound harsh and it might sound slightly funny, but this is the way I am able to put a lot of effort into making sure that my pronunciation is good, my grammar is good, and I expand my vocabulary, which again helps me express myself. The difference it makes is it allows me to learn more about my surroundings. You see, speaking language is one thing, but speaking in a local way, and by that I mean being able to talk about things that are happening locally, in politics, in economy, in your community, things that will allow you to understand inside jokes, things that will allow you to have a proper conversation with people at work. This is what allows you to really integrate with the community over here and ultimately contributes to your success on immigration. You have to know those little things in order to be able to connect with locals, which will then allow you to have a proper life over here. Because once you move to another country, you need to find new friends, you need to find new jobs, you need to find a new way of living over here. And if you're not able to communicate with people around you, that is going to be very, very hard. And at some point, you'll start to feel very, very lonely. To avoid that, you need to learn English in order to speak with people around you. That is it for today's episode. Please let me know what it is that you do to get better at speaking in English. Feel free to leave some comments and feel free to even correct my grammar in this video. I always appreciate when people do that. Okay, that is it for today. Please let me know what did you think about this video, about its quality, a new setup. I'm trying to find new ways of shooting those videos. And let me know what did you think about the audio quality. And as always, any general comments are welcome. Also, feel free to subscribe to get notified about new videos coming out, and like this video if you liked it. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one.